nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, walking to the freedom land.
I'm gobsmacked by what we just heard.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what did you think? How was it for you? What's
That's my head, sorry.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Is it doable?
Yeah.
What I felt that we did more was we improvised more than when we were singing vocally. We were sticking to melodies and stuff that we knew, whereas we moved away from that because we realised that actually some of it just doesn't translate onto an instrument when it's designed for voice because it's not. So we started to improvise and play.
So being creative?
Yeah.
And was that difficult or easy to do?
It was fairly. I mean, we were trying to. We had very diverse instruments, so we were struggling a little bit to begin with to sort of get sounds that kind of stylistically gelled, and we had a few tempo issues because some of the wobble effects they didn't sync.
Yeah.
So
sometimes there can be a delay, isn't it?
Yeah, there's delay, and also some of them are very quiet. We found that to really listen, which would be good for the kids.
Yeah.
Really listen.
Yeah. That's some great points. Thank you. Any other successes, issues, challenges?
I think that we found as well for the definitely the first session was very individual, was you were just kind of figuring out what we all had individually and how to work them before we actually kind of said, right, we need to actually bring it together a bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I think this sort of stuff lends itself to basic sort of sand and water play, doesn't it? In other words, just find out what this does, what the potential is. And I think we could have lots of sessions, could we, just exploring and then networking. This does this, did you know this? I mean, how many people have learned something today already that they didn't know about what they've got? It seems to me one of the exciting things. Yeah, but that's great. Anything else? We don't spend too long here, but just getting some feedback on what it was like to perform like you just had.
I was just going to say, I think it's great that it takes away the technical worries that you have when you're trying to teach kids to do something, because they can all do that straight away. You know what I mean? It's not actually learn how to play something on a keyboard, put the fingers on the right chords, or that sort of stuff. It's the creativity straight away. Straight into that.
Yeah, and there was issues, wasn't there, about the technology getting in the way of the music. But actually, what we've got here, I think this is demonstrated, is that the technology has enabled us to get straight into the music and perform in, 40 minutes?
My fear would be that they never wanted to go on real instruments.
That's not a thing. No, there's always going to be room for that. And when it's amplified properly, you can get both.
Yeah, I thought
that's the really exciting thing.
I think a debate for this pilot as well is, are we going to consider that our phones are instruments? Are they kind of a new kind of instrument, not a piano, not a guitar, but are they actually an instrument in their own right? And I think that's something to think about as we're going along. Because I think that's some criticism we're going to get back at us. You're taking away from real instruments, which isn't the intention at all. But it'd just be interesting to see what sort of debates we have as we're unfolding with it.
Yeah, but I think it depends on what we actually play. Because the Albany synth that I've been playing, you cannot get the feeling, well, actually, you might as well be playing a real synth. Because if you're playing what's basically a facsimile keyboard, you may as well be playing a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? Whereas some of those other things, because you are going to be limited by your technical skills, and you're actually limited by the size of the keyboard. But some of the other things that people had enabled you to do things that you couldn't do. Because you can play more than one. Whatever you were doing on that string thing was just fabulous. Because you were playing, what was it, 2-3 notes at a time?
It's little boxes. You just press little ones, and it just does it. You just press the right key.
So I think that's the interesting thing, as Abby says, then it starts to be an instrument in its own right, rather than just a pretend instrument.
I think you'd strip away, if I was starting this, I'd strip away all the musical kind of notes and pitch, strip it all away and just do kind of soundscapes with them to start with, compositional devices, and use those ones which are just blobs and you're moving, physically moving things, so you're moving sound around, and use that as an analogy, just saying this is what you're doing, and try and get some soundscapes.
I think the other thing is, it actually proves to children, because a lot of children in my that I teach, they think because they're using music technology, they don't need to know about music. And if you're using these as instruments, you still need to have some musical understanding, because mostly you're playing the keyboard. So by going in from a soundscape point of view, they're already hooked, and then you can go into the more technical musical bits, because you've still got to play an F. You're just not playing it on the piano or on the flute. You've still got to know about those real basic things.
But you can just use your ears though. You don't necessarily.
Yeah, but that's the good
Yeah.
thing about it. So they have to listen, and they're doing something that they really enjoy doing.
Anybody else? Before we
Yeah,
go
I
break?
thought it was like really fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
just to
it's really
perform.
fun.
It was really enjoyable for staff. I think the discussion about whether it's a real instrument or not, it's just you can differentiate, can't you, based on the ability of the kids that you're teaching. I think that's what's really powerful about it. Whereas a keyboard, you can't make the keys bigger, you can on here, and thirdly, I would say that I don't know why, but we all stuck to sort of instruments where we could have sampled voices and what we sang earlier, and actually had that as part of our performance. But maybe that would be.
Well, that's all about staying in the comfort zone to start with in an alien environment, isn't it? Which we all do, which is fine. But there were people branching out into areas of great experimentation. But I think the differentiation issue is really important, because there was a guitar. It was Gillian, wasn't it? You had just 4 chords, didn't you? And for the kid who just could manage 4 chords, that was perfect. But you've got everything from there. You can even take all the notes off GarageBand, so you don't see any notes, and you're just playing a guitar or a piano. We've got that huge breadth to actually almost have a bespoke instrument, I think, for each child. And they're going to choose their own, aren't they? They're going to find out what they like and what they're good at.
I don't think it's as intimidating picking up a phone or a laptop and making musical sounds and stuff as it is giving a kid a guitar or a recorder or a flute or something.
Yeah, now that's very interesting, isn't it? Because it's perhaps something we take for granted. It's a piano.
Yeah.
But actually, it can be a big hurdle, can't it?
Yeah.
Phones,
Yeah.
And when you start with this, then they'll probably think, oh, I might try a guitar. Let me see if I can try a
Yeah,
guitar.
it's quite possible.
And they do.